Were you walking around last night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you see anything that shocked you, that surprised you?
Everybody was behaving.
Yeah.
Really? Where were you?
Right after we land back from Pakistan, being there for nearly 3 weeks in this Sharia law country and surrounded by extreme conservative Islamic people. ISIS flags are flying everywhere. You've got the Taliban that's in Pakistan. And well, then on top of that, we come back and hop on a plane and head to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. I mean, it was like such a contrast to everything that we had been in, everything that we had just been a part of, especially when you've been in a place like Pakistan for a while.
The waiter this morning at breakfast was telling us, like, are you nervous being here? And we were like, no. And he's like, you should be. We were like, why? And he goes, just walking around here is super dangerous. Saying his girlfriend yesterday was just walking and got groped. Obviously, I'm staying very close to my bodyguard over here. Let's go.
It's a bit of a culture shock coming from Pakistan to this. It's like my head is adjusting. Like I'm like, wait a minute, I was just in the Middle East, I was in a Muslim country. This is a stark contrast and my head's kind of spinning a little bit. I feel like I'm getting slapped in the face with culture right now, and I'm like, whoa, hang on. I mean, people are openly smoking weed in the streets. So Mardi Gras is right before Ash Wednesday, which is a time of contemplation of the crucifixion, and Fat Tuesday is, you know, live it up, get fat on sin, get fat on everything, because Ash Wednesday is going to come around and you got to get cleaned up. That's the whole point of Mardi Gras. But most of these people, they're not going to be walking around with ash on their heads. Although Louisiana and New Orleans is a massive Catholic community. But most of these people here are not people of faith, I guarantee it.
This kind of feels like a bit of a pagan pilgrimage.
It is.
What they're really looking for is an encounter. They're looking for something to happen, something that's going to make their life interesting, something that's going to have
thrilling,
meaning,
excitement,
thrilling, all of it. And the thing that's cool about being here is we're here to minister the encounter.
Yeah.
You know?
People are here for sin. That's the reason why I said it's like Boys Town in Chicago during the Gay Pride Week.
You're right. It's more than just the partying. It's more than just the drugs and the costumes. Like, what we're seeing here is just an open celebration of things that are rebellious against God.
One of the things I love seeing in places like this is the people that are out there demonstrating the gospel and sharing the gospel out in the open, street preachers and people handing out Christian material in the midst of all this chaos and debauchery and sin that was going on. I loved it because Jesus sent us out to be that demonstration. He sent us out to show the signs and the wonders and his power, and to communicate, to not just do his words, to speak his words, but to do his works.
This is my first time being at Mardi Gras. I've been to New Orleans, I've been down this street many times, but it's a challenging place to minister. People kind of don't want to be stopped. They don't want to be spoken to unless you're like engaging in the debauchery that they're wanting to engage in.
A young Ukrainian woman who was a Christian approached me while I was just walking down the street. She recognized me and asked if I would pray an impartation for her. She had indicated to me that they had not seen many healings, if any at all. I laid my hands on her and I prayed an impartation. Immediately, this woman goes over and finds somebody who needed healing in their body, prayed for them, and they were healed. She came back so excited because this was the first healing that she had seen while she was down there. And one of my passions as an equipper is to see not myself do the things I've done so much already. Now to stop and to encourage others, to pray for others, to release to others, that ability to go do the same is one of my greatest joys and passions. With that, many of the team began to have people line up and they began to ask for prayers of impartation. Just the brilliance of Christ's presence just shining down on this group of people that were willing to just stop and say, man, we need a recharge, we need a fresh touch, and to see the Lord happily do that. And it was great to be able just to serve them by encouraging them in that way. As I was walking away to go do the exact same thing, what's happening in the United States, as we call ourselves the melting pot, that has now sort of come into our practice of Christianity, under the umbrella of tolerance, has then confused so many people that they think the message of the gospel is that same tolerance. There's a mixture of Christianity and paganism, Catholicism and witchcraft, which is really what voodoo is. If all of these people were participating on Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras in preparation to go Ash Wednesday and to be cleaned up, to be purified, and you'd be saying, God doesn't care how much you sin as long as you say you're sorry when you're done. And of course, the violation of that in Scripture is he who knows to do good and does it not, to him it is sin. So therefore, knowing to do good, even though you ask for forgiveness, but you did it with the intent to ask for forgiveness, then your heart truly is not penitent. And the problem is that we in the West have really embraced that. And we've embraced that mentality. And therefore, we're not operating out of conviction. We're operating out of indulgence.
What brought you to town? Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It's kind of crazy.
But fun.
You had fun?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's very different going to the cathedral today, right?
Yes.
From
It's a
yesterday.
quiet place, right?
Yeah. Are you Catholic?
Me too. Yeah.
You're Catholic?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. So do you know what Mardi Gras is? Why it was set up?
Yes.
It's like at the beginning of Lent. So it's like, let's have one more party before Lent. What do you think of that?
Well, we didn't know about the meaning till like recently. But it's kind of like crazy, like knowing that you can sin before the start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Were you walking around last night?
Yeah.
What did you see anything that shocked you, that surprised you?
Actually, no, because everybody was kind of decent, you know. they
everybody was
calm.
behaving.
'Cause, yeah.
Really? Where were you? Would you come back for Mardi Gras?
Yeah, we that's the way
We're
we came.
we're planning to.
You're planning to come
We're
back.
praying right now, you know, about to come back next year. Praying right now, you know, about to come back next year. Praying right now, you know, about to come back next year. I want to.
We're mixing the ongoing practice of sin and yet saying we're in a relationship with Jesus Christ. That can't happen, because you can't be in a relationship with Jesus Christ and stay in that practice and that rebellious place of sin. It doesn't work. The holy and the profane cannot go together. And so to go down and to think, oh, I can go and live this debauchery, I can live in all this sin for a day, do whatever I want for a day, indulge in it, and then turn around and say, I'm sorry. That's trying to mix that oil and water. And it won't mix because God doesn't want it to. One of the reasons why we do our AKTS schools in the U.S. is because we are trying to mobilize the church to take the gospel out to the streets, because that's where Jesus did it. That's where the disciples did it. They weren't practicing that just within the church meetings. This is what Christ intended for us as a church. Part of the reason why we're doing AKTS is to break the mentality out of the Christian that signs and wonders are reserved for inside the church building. Jesus never intended for us to keep signs and wonders and the power demonstration locked up in a building. He wanted that out into the world. He wanted us infiltrating, being salt and light in the community. You don't have to have the title of an evangelist or a title of a pastor. Every believer is called to be a minister. Scripture makes that clear. We're all called to do the work of the evangelist. A lot of people want to stop and go, I want to be a part of a big event or a big thing, but what is needed is Christ being demonstrated right out your front door right now, right at the locker beside you at school, right in the cubicle beside you at work, right where you're at. That's where it starts, and that's where the nation changes, and therefore the world changes. It's right where you are. Start where you are to be the transformation of Jesus Christ throughout the rest of the world.